Let's talk about percentages. They're all around us. From the billboards we see to the articles we read, it's even in our everyday speech. Percentages have been used since the medieval times. They are said to have originated in Europe sometime from 1560 to 1570. However, there is other evidence that shows a percent symbol being used more than 100 years earlier in Europe around 1425. Take a look at this. This is an ancient scribe using a unique symbol to represent a percentage. Percent by definition means parts per 100, and we all know its famous symbol. What you probably aren't too familiar with are its relatives. There's the per mille, per thousand sign, and the per myriad, per 10,000 sign. The modern English word percent, or sometimes written as the phrase percent, comes from the Latin phrase percentium, which means by the hundred. The English word is also similar to the Italian term percento, meaning for 100. Percent joined the English language in the 16th century. Aside from these history lessons, let's get into looking at percentages mathematically and putting them into practice. Here is a basic percentage word problem. What is 25% of 635? This is what we know. S being the solution is equal to 25% times 635. Let's start by putting that into mathematical terms. We can turn 25% into a decimal, making it able to multiply with a whole number. We do that by taking 25 and dividing it by 100, which gives us 0.25. Now we can take 0.25 and multiply it with 635. And that gives us our solution of 158.75. Let's do one more. This one is a little tricky. What if you are given the solution and have to find the percentage? Here's the problem. What percent of 1,000 is 59? Again, here's what we know. P being what percent multiplied by 1,000 is equal to 59. We can simplify that by saying 1,000p is equal to 59. We now try to get p, our unknown percent, by itself on the left side of the equal sign. By doing that, we do the opposite of multiplication and divide 1,000 on both sides. Remember, whatever you do on one side of the equal sign has to be done on the other. This gives us 1,000p divided by 1,000 equal to 59 divided by 1,000, which comes out to p equals 0.059. Now that isn't quite your answer just yet. We need to turn that into a percent. Remember, percent is simply parts per 100. So we take 0.059 and multiply it by 100, and that gives us our final answer of 5.9%. See, percentages really aren't that bad. In fact, they're really easy, and give us a chance to represent our data in a different way, one that most people can really understand. For example, someone might tell you that 90% of the world's oceans are unexplored. Here's a random fun fact. Did you know? In 2012, Stanford University's Symbolic System program voted the percent symbol of the year. Let's take a look now at percentages being used today. They are used in a variety of careers. The careers that I am thinking of are in the music business. In the business affairs department of a standard record label, percentages are constantly used. Everyone working in this department is responsible for payroll and all financial matters. Let's look at this scenario. You are working in the Business Affairs Department at Capitol Records. Your job is making sure everyone gets paid. Looking at your artist contract, you see percentages noted for the division of royalties on the artist's music. The contract states that the label receives 55% of royalties, and the artist receives 45%. Your artist's new hit single was just used in a commercial, and the payment of $1 million from that commercial production company has just arrived. How much money will the label and the artist each receive? Let's start by writing our equations. L, which stands for the amount of money the label will receive, is equal to 55% times a million. Again, we are going to convert 55% to a decimal, giving us 0.55. 0.55 multiplied by a million equals 550,000. So to answer the first part of the question, the label will receive $550,000. Now, logically we can say the artist will receive the remainder of the $1 million. So we could take $1 million and subtract 550,000, which gives us 450,000. However, just to check that answer, let's take 45% and multiply it by $1 million. Again, we come to 450,000. Now we have both our answers. The label is going to receive $550,000 and the artist is going to receive $450,000. Another department in the record company that will use a lot of percentages is the marketing team. Here, percentages will be used to represent data from statistics. Take a look at this pie chart example that would be shown in a typical marketing meeting. This chart would be very beneficial in helping the whole team create their marketing plan. By knowing what kind of music is popular, they can find the talent that matches this criteria. They also have the option, if the artist is willing, to mold their current artist's image and music to fit the bill. Well, that's it. I hope you learned a lot. I took you back in time to ancient percentages, gave you a short math lesson, fed you a fun fact, and ended with applying percentages to real life. Math can be a lot of fun. This world would not function without it, and neither would music. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.